This video is in response to all the people out there, I guess I call them conspiracy nuts, that believe that there are Rex 84 and Fema detention camps all over the USA. So I figured we should take a look around on Google Earth, since Google Earth has so many different areas on there that you would think would be too secretive to be shown, but they're there. So let's start off with some non-secretive areas just to show you that I know what I'm doing. I don't have any labels on, I don't have any roads on, I don't have any political boundaries on. I have all of the markers and place markers turned off so that you could just see that I know what I'm doing when it comes to maps. Why? Because I have military intelligence experience with cartographic stuff. So there we go. Took me a couple of seconds to find it from outer space, but this is where I'm at right now. This is Kingston, Pennsylvania, Susquehanna River, Route 309 bridge, another railroad bridge, Market Street bridge. So where I'm, well, I won't show you my house, but that's the hospital I was born in, Nesbitt Hospital, Kingston. So it only took me half a minute to find that. Let's go back out into space. This next one's easy to find because there's a big blob right there to click on. But like I said, no, I don't have any labels on. I'm just finding this stuff by looking at it and looking at the lay of the land. And I'm looking through my camera too, I'm not even looking through the screen. And here we have Peace Park in Austin, Texas. Here's the volleyball courts. You can play frisbee golf here. There's the creek bed. A friend of mine lives up in this area. Here's the college. Wait. Oh, okay. I spoke too soon. Here's the college. That's the tower. You can see the shadow for the tower. That's where the guy shot those people back in the day. Austin, Texas, the Dome, the state capitol. Now all of these are just residential areas, you know, there's nothing special about them. So let's go over to Nevada, and you could assume what I'm going to show you in Nevada. Now once again, I'm finding this stuff real fast here because I'm good at using Google Earth, and I used to analyze maps and stuff all the time in the Army. So what has a dry lake bed and a really long runway? Well, that's Area 51 in high res. Now why would they show you Area 51 on Google Earth, but they wouldn't show you these little camps? There's supposedly 600 Fema detention camps in the US, one of which can hold up to 2 million people. Yeah, right. But here's two F-16 fighters sitting on a tarmac. No aliens, but you know, I'm pretty sure they know when the satellites are looking. But so there's a couple things I showed you. So now I'm going to take you out of the US, and I'm going to show you a real important spot. We're going to see what a real prison camp looks like. You think there's FEMA prison camps in the US, you think that we're under martial law. Maybe you should learn what real strife is like. Maybe you should know what real suffering is like. Just typing something in here because I don't know my way around Korea as much. So here's a high-res prison camp, the Yodok North Korean political prison camp. Now why is this important? Because there's nothing like this in the US, but this is what you need to look for if you're trying to find prison camps in the US. Now you can find the prisons in the US, you just type in prisons and they're all listed. You can drive up to the front gate, you can go visit prisoners if you want. So try to find a secret prison that meets these criteria. Here we have a building that's casting a slight shadow because generally these pictures are taken during the middle of the day. Now what has just as long a shadow? Well, we can't see it because it's real thin. That's because it's a wall or a fence. So there's a wall or a fence here that's casting a shadow the same size as this building's shadow, which means that it's tall enough to keep people in, and the whole area is surrounded by them. So lots of walls that are keeping people in. Here we have you see agriculture areas so that the prisoners can maintain their own food supply. Not a lot of them because North Koreans don't eat a lot, they're starving. All the buildings seem to have the same purpose. The only special building has a road going to it, so this must be where the staff live. They drive in go through this gate and have their staff building, and then here's all of the prison buildings, which don't have roads going in and out of them. So that's a real prison camp. That's what we need to look for. Now let's go look at what's not a prison camp, but what is labeled as one. Turn off all the labels again. Zoom out into space. Come back across the Pacific. Past Hawaii. Oh, which means we gotta go north because there's Mexico. Alright, orient north again. I said orient north again, thank you. And zoom in. Next to one of these Great Lakes here. I forget which one. Is it Huron? I don't know. Fort Drum, New York. Fort Drum, New York is supposed to have 2 facilities on it. Just look, watch. Just type in FEMA. And enter. Oh, and I accidentally misspelled FEMA. So let's do it again. Alright. Here we have on Fort Drum, New York. There's Wheeler Sac Airfield. And it says Rex 84 Detention Camp and FEMA Detention. Now, this is the old part of Post, which is called Old Post. If you drive through the gate here, within about 4 minutes you could drive down this road, I forget what it's called, go down this street, drive back on another road. In about 10 minutes you could do a circle around this whole area. I used to live, sorry, I have a cold. I used to live right here. So I lived right in the heart of the FEMA Rex 84 detention camp. Now all of these buildings are filled with people. So if they decide to make this a prison camp, what are they going to do? Put the soldiers out on their butts and just say sleep in the cold because we're making a prison camp here? You know, there's nothing here that I couldn't tell you what it is. I'm not going to tell you what everything is because then I don't want, you know, the NSA to call me and say, why are you showing maps of US bases and saying what everything is? But like, some of the more obvious things are, you know, here are a bunch of barracks. You get maps of this online, I'm sure, and see where all this stuff is. There's barracks. I mean, here's, obviously this is housing. You could just tell by the shape of the rows. I've had friends that live there. I've been to barbecues there. I've been to half the buildings on this post. I've been in the command building, where the general's office is. I've seen the general sitting in his office. I won't say which general. I won't say what year that was, but you know, I've been all over the place here. Now let's go out into the wilderness, because they'll say like, oh, well, they won't build it where everybody's at. Well, there's no place where people aren't at, because there's roads going through the training area. There's ranges all over the place. Soldiers go and conduct ranges all the time. They camp out. They walk through the woods. They do land navigation. Furthermore, civilians could come and hunt on Fort Drum during the hunting season to keep the deer population down so that soldiers don't hit deer constantly. Because remember, you're driving a Humvee at night with the lights off, with night vision on, so it's hard to see deer, and they don't want dead deer all over the place, so they let civilians come and hunt. I've actually seen Canadians who are lost. They were driving through the U.S. and they got lost, and they ended up on one of the ranges driving down one of these dirt roads in their car, and they'd stop and say, where am I? Why is all the army guys out here and stuff? You say, well, you're on an army base. You got lost. Here's the only buildings in the training area that I could think of. And these buildings don't even have doors on them. They're just training buildings for urban warfare. So, and plenty of people know this stuff. I'm not telling you any secrets, but because of some different jobs that I had in the army that I won't talk about, I did have carte blanche, like reign over Fort Drum. Well, not reign, but I could go wherever I wanted. And sometimes in the middle of the day on a weekday, even though I'd be in the training area just driving around to get someplace, to do various parts of my military, you know, tasks and jobs that I had. And I always like to explore this area because there's a lot of history here. It's been a military base since the 1800s. There was old buildings, there was old curiosities and relics sitting around, and I like to go and explore them. Like here's one up by the hospital. This road here is just a dirt road that goes off the main road. Nobody ever goes up or down it, but I drove up there one time just to see what was going on. And I walked up to the top of this hill and saw what was in these woods around here. There's nothing spooky going on. This actually, well, it's kind of spooky. There's a cemetery there. Old cemetery, no new graves. It's all like from the 1800s. So, I don't know. Fort Drum isn't actually that big of a base. And these people out there, whoever they are, geniuses that they are, say that there's 2 bases there for like imprisoning civilians. No way, dude. I've been all over that base. There's nothing even close to that. So tell me where you think these bases are, And I'll tell you what, recession hit hard. I'm out of work right now, but I got some money. I'll come on down and investigate them. You tell me where there's a prison camp in the U.S., and I will come and take a look at it for weeks. All I ask is you let me sleep on your couch. Alright, peace out. Bye.